Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and you are watching Sarah Kate Knits. This would be episode 3 of my traditional format knitting podcast. I do have one project vlog and then my 2025 year in review video, which by the way, thank you all so much for the positive feedback on that. All of the really sweet comments about the secret history cardigan and socks. I'm so excited to work with all of you on that. So thank you so much for letting me know that you're excited and, giving me feedback. So thank you again for all the response on my 2025 year in review video. But yeah, anyways, I'm so excited to be here today, just doing a straight ahead normal format knitting podcast, finished objects, whips, acquisitions. The last one was really quite a little while ago. It was 4 months ago, my last one. So I'm excited to be coming back. Again, there's a lot of stuff that I finished and went through in between that time. A lot of stuff you saw in the year in review video, but there's a lot of stuff that's dormant just because they're summer items and I have them asleep right now. So I'm not even going to talk about those whips. The whips that I'm talking about today really are active current ones. So again, it's not going to be a long run through of everything just because it's not all relevant. I really want to save my summer fiber projects for when it's hot. And it's not hot right now. It's so chilly. It's really cozy. So yeah, we're just going to go through what I'm working on actively, stuff I finished, and then a couple acquisitions. I do have some things that are on the way in the mail. Stuff that was supposed to come yesterday but won't come till tomorrow. So I don't know if I will add an ad hoc acquisitions section afterward, like film tomorrow or when the other stuff comes, but I do kind of want to get this video out. So I may just hold on to that stuff until the next time I film. So grab your knitting, grab your drink. I have my homemade cold brew. And let's talk about all things knitting. Okay, so my first finished object is actually what I'm wearing. This is my incredibly scrappy, pretty heavily modified Olga jacket by PetiteKnit. By the way, I have my laptop here to refer to all of my Ravelry stats so I don't miss anything. As always, all of the patterns mentioned and yarns I used will be linked in the description below so you can go take a look, as well as my Ravelry projects page. A lot of these whips and finished objects are modified, so if you do want to see the modifications I use, just go to my Ravelry projects page and I've detailed my modifications in that page. I started this all the way back in April. April 25th, and I finished it the 4th of January this year. So it was my very first finished object for 2026, which is really exciting. This is something that was languishing for a really long time just because of how scrappy it is. I had grown a bit of disdain for it because of how many ends there were working this project. Like, I think there are 8 different colors. 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 different colors in this scrappy jacket, and the original Olga is only supposed to have 2 colors. I'm sure you guys are familiar. It's a pretty popular pattern towards the end of last year. But yeah, you can carry the yarn up the side with 2 colors, but with 10 colors, I would break the yarn every time, and so every beginning and end of a stripe is a set of 2 ends. And so I had this one hiding. I have like a big project bag back there where things go to hide. That's where all of my summer whips are. So this was hiding for so long, just because I couldn't stand to work with the scrappy material. But I'm so glad that at the end of the year, last few days of the year, I was like, you know what, let's not bring this one into 2026 with me, which I did obviously for 4 days, but it felt like I'm not bringing it into 2026. So I really used every last drop of some of these yarns, which was the goal. So I'm really, really happy about that. I did knit it on the 4mm needles as PetiteKnit does. The main modifications other than 10 colors instead of 2 colors is the double knit button band and the double knit collar. Um, I did this for 2 reasons really. One, I kind of love working double knit. That is, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I love working double knit and I'll substitute it all the time. I know I'm a freak. Um, I think it looks cleaner and I like working it. And the second is that all of those ends that I was just talking about, they're all stuffed inside of the double knit. So I suppose using white was kind of risky. I did use color catcher when I washed it just to see like I've used all of these yarns in other projects. That's the whole point. It's scrappy. Um, and I couldn't remember if they bled or not. So I guess it was kind of risky, like stuffing a bunch of colors into my white button band, but it worked out. I used the gray for the collar just because it's scrappy. Why would I do the neck and the button band the same color? I cast on 10 stitches for the button band, and then I just kind of did the button placement myself, just how many I picked up, and then I do think I followed the pickup rate that PetiteKnit suggests for the ribbed band, but the buttons I just had to figure out myself. So yeah, it's incredibly comfortable. I'm not surprised because it has a pretty high cotton content, and while I know a lot of people frown upon cotton sweaters, um, again, I live in a mostly warmer climate, so having some sweaters that are like half cotton or 60% cotton is really, really nice. It's so soft, like it's pretty sturdy. I think because of the 4mm needles and the DK weight gauge, like I think this could be knit on 4.5 and you'd have like a drapier thing, but the 4mm really gave this kind of body and structure. Um, and so I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm glad I pushed through. It gives me confidence and hope that I will be able to finish the things that are hiding back there that I've been ignoring. Just because I started this in April and finished it the following January, it does give me faith that I will complete stuff. And I know I don't have to complete stuff, but I'm thinking about doing another scrappy sweater. Even though I complained about the process. I'm thinking about doing the Olga sweater, which I did buy the pattern for and then knit one and hated it because I like knit it on bigger needles. I don't know. I'm gonna follow the gauge PetiteKnit recommends, and I might do another one that is a sweater so I don't have to purl so much. I think that was part of the turn off too, is not only the ends but also all of the like purling, which I do usually like, but this is a pretty wide like boxy fit. So it's a decent amount of purling. So yeah, I highly recommend this for using your scraps. I'm so happy. I've been wearing it quite a lot just because of how comfortable it is. But yeah, that's my first finished object, and I will bring you to the second one, which is my only other finished object. So if you saw my 2025 year in review video, these might look familiar to you. They're already showing signs of wear, but these are a pair of Secret History socks for my partner. He saw me working up my original blue pair and was like, "What are those?" I said, "They're my design." He was like, "They're your design?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I want those." So this is also made in the Hobbi Friends Sock Wool that I used for the original pair. This is like a oatmealish color. I hope I saved the band. I don't remember the exact color number, but if I find it, I will put it in the description. But yeah, so I'll show you the stitch pattern again. This is my little cable repeat stitch pattern. They're super long. These are not shorties. He really does not like short socks. And I mean, most men don't really. But yeah, so they're super long. They're like dress shoes socks. And I feel a great sense of redemption. If you watched my last video, I talked about how I made him those Kingfisher socks, just basic stockinette in the round socks, and they're too big. These fit him so perfect. And again, I think the rib has a lot to do with that. I also just have better tension and measured him better, I think. But yeah, so these fit him really great. He has already requested a second pair, so I do think I will try another yarn. I have some Sandisgarn Sisu coming, so we'll see if I like that. I want something woollier for him because they're going to have wear. You can already see the heels are kind of stained from his like brown dress shoes. But yeah, I still, it doesn't really matter. It's a very light yarn, so maybe we'll make the next pair darker, or I can try out like a different cable pattern. But yeah, the Hobbi Friends Sock Wool is my new favorite yarn from Hobbii, I think. The Friends Merino or the Friends Extra Fine Merino I use a lot, but it does have a tendency to felt like pretty quickly. So this is skyrocketing in the ranks just because it's more woolly. And again, I would never want this like next to skin. Like it's not really sweater material, but for socks, I feel like these will be hard wearing. And yeah, it's not felted really at all. He's only worn them like 3 times, but again, I'm really happy with this yarn. And I'm glad that he's so excited about this pattern and has already requested more. So yeah, I feel like these really give the look he was going for. They're very like sophisticated, very like professional. He kind of likes to channel the like Cary Grant vibe. And I feel like with the cables and like the brown leather shoes, we're getting closer to that Cary Grant look. So I'm totally happy to make more for him. I'm so pleased that he latched onto something that I designed so quickly. So yeah, those are my 2 finished objects. I mean, I suppose it really only has been 19 days of the year, so I suppose 2 finished objects in 19 days is pretty okay. But let's move on to my works in progress. All right, suppose we'll head into this cute little sheepy bag first. All right, so first up is my Northland sweater. This is something that I cast on Friday, so 3 days ago, because I was in desperate need of something very easy, very mindless. And the weather was forecasted to get quite cold where I live, which hasn't really come to fruition. They were saying we were going to get wintry mix. We did not get wintry mix. It's just kind of chilly. But anyways, I realized that I hadn't knit as many pullovers as I thought. I usually do cardigans, like thinner ones too, so they're kind of transitional and they work for multiple seasons for me. And I was like, why don't I have pullovers? Like, why don't I have more pullovers? I knit, like, this is my main hobby. Why do I only have like 3 pullovers? So I wanted something very easy, just like stockinette, and I wanted a pullover, maybe a little bit oversized, and so I knew exactly where to go. I went to Miss PetiteKnit. Shocker, I know. So if you're familiar with the Northland sweater, this is a men's pattern. I knit the stripy one for my partner, and I already had it. I wanted an immediate cast on, so I knew I was going to do something I already had. The other contender was a Frankie sweater without the stripes, and you'll see that I kind of have Frankensteined the 2 of them together. So this saddle shoulder construction is in keeping with the Northland sweater. Like the entire construction is the raglan, the saddle shoulder, the sleeves, all of that is the smallest size for the Northland sweater because again, it's a men's pattern. And then I've kind of added the rolled stockinette edging that she's been doing in her like more recent patterns onto this. Will this be cohesive and seamless? I'm not sure. It hasn't been blocked, so I'm hoping that it will kind of sit like that with just a little bit of roll, just like my Frankie sweater does, but who's to say? I don't really know. The reason that I haven't blocked it yet is because I've been like working on it obsessively to try and finish it. Like this has been a very like watching movies, watching TV, work on it kind of thing. Like it's not for the process, it's for the product. I mean, I guess it is for the process because I wanted something easy to work on. But again, I just kind of want another pullover. So I've also done the rolled stockinette edge on the sleeves. I did 6 rounds of half twisted rib and then 4 rounds of that rolled stockinette edge and then just bound off knitwise. So it is similar to the Frankie. The Frankie has regular rib and not twisted or half twisted. So I feel like this is a more elegant look. Like I wanted to give this something. It doesn't have stripes like the Frankie. So yeah, I wanted to add some kind of nice detail. And then that had me wondering if I should undo the collar and do half twisted rib and then the roll on the collar as well. I suppose I'll just end up blocking it and then see what I want to do. I'm definitely going to do that for the bottom hem. I'm just working until I get as long as possible. I'm just kind of like eating up this yarn. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is the Plymouth Yarn Worsted Merino Superwash Solids. So, and it's the color number 103. It's this beautiful kind of sky blue color. It's pretty frosty and wintry looking. And I think it will really complement like my hair and complexion. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, this is my last skein. I had 4 skeins, so 872 yards. So however much 872 yards can get me is what I'm gonna get. So I always do the sleeves first. So I've got one sleeve done, and then I will finish this sleeve, and then whatever's left, I will put into the bottom. Obviously, I'm not gonna make it too long, but I'm gonna put that into the bottom and then maybe leave a little to see if I want to redo the collar and do the half twisted rib. I'm really not sure. But yeah, ultimately, this is exactly what I wanted it to be. It's been so chill. It's been really comfortable. This yarn is pretty soft. It's very super washy. So I also am expecting it to grow a little bit. That's also why I'm hesitant on the body length and everything, because I don't know how much it's going to grow. But yeah, I like this yarn. If you are like an anti-superwash person, I maybe wouldn't do it. I had never noticed that superwash yarns do this, but I've been watching Laura Penrose's channel a lot. Go check her out. I'm sure you know who she is. She has some very popular patterns, but I finally discovered her and have been kind of obsessed. But she was talking about how like superwash gets this pinstripey look where like one leg of the stitches is always shorter than the other. And I'm seeing it now. Like I never noticed that and now I see it. So I don't know if washing this will resolve that or if it's just gonna have that look. I just want my sweaters to be soft. I just want them to be really soft. So I don't mind depilling it and taking the time to take care of it. I've been thinking about this a lot, this kind of like using woolier or more rustic wools to make a sweater that's like arguably longer lasting, as opposed to using a softer wool to make something that will pill and like degrade quicker. Part of me feels like I would rather make something that's really soft and that I want to wear all the time that will show signs of wear. Like it's almost like it's showing how much I loved the sweater. And then there's like love that goes into taking care of the sweater, like washing it and sweater shaving it and everything. I don't know. This is a lot for an inanimate object. This is a lot of love to be considered for an inanimate object. But anyways, yeah, if you don't like superwash, don't use this yarn. If you do, I like it. We'll see how much it grows. I suppose I'll update you in the next podcast because it will definitely be a finished object then. This pullover will soon be done and I'm very excited to wear it while it is colder here where I live. Okay. Next is also from the sheep bag. This, the yarn's disconnected, but I'll pull it out anyways. So this is very small because it's been giving me trouble, but I am working on a second sample of the Secret History cardigan. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to reveal the details of my pattern before it's even been tested. Again, thank you so much for letting me know if you want to test. I'm so excited. I don't have a set timeline, but I'm just going to keep updating you. So thank you for keeping your eyes peeled. I really appreciate all of you guys. Okay, so this is what I have of the second sample. Wow, this is really hard to show. So this is knit in, this is Malabrigo Arroyo in the color Pearl. It's this beautiful, like grayish, purplish, like it's almost like if lavender was brought all the way to its most muted state. So yeah, sport weight yarn. But anyways, I don't know if you're noticing the difference, but this sample has a cable that's going to run around the drop shoulder. So this is something that my partner recommended. I had my first sample on. He was like, I know it's supposed to look like this, but it kind of looks like the sleeve is tacked on. And I'm like, yeah, it's a drop shoulder. Like that's how it is. He was like, I feel like if there was a cable around the shoulder, it would make use of that sort of construction. And I was like, he's like, can you add that? And I'm like, I'd have to unravel the whole thing. So part of me was annoyed that this suggestion came after I had pretty much knit a whole sample. And part of me was like, you're gonna have to knit another sample anyways, so just do it. So this is that. So this is that second sample. So I'm starting to work a cable around the armband. So again, it'll be on the front and the back. And then I'm also doing the sort of cable repeat that's in the socks. So it's not going to be the cable repeat every round. I'm doing every other. So, or not every other round, but like every other repeat. If you test, you'll figure it out. So ultimately, this pattern is going to have 4 different possible options. I wanted to give as many like modifications as possible because I'd already tested them, like I'd already done them on the socks, and I could figure out how to do it here, which did take a while. I did unravel this like 3 times. So that's why it's just this little tiny strip of fabric that I'm flapping around, because I had to figure out how to get that cable to start looking nice in the short rows. So yeah, this sample has given me some trouble, but I do think it's going to be worth it in terms of giving you guys the most options when it comes to making the cardigan, and it also creates a more unique look. Like it's a more unique pattern if there's 4 different ways that you can make this pattern. So I'm hoping to have the whole armhole cable situation worked out by the time that my editor is ready. We'll see. I think I will, just because after the blue Northland sweater is done, this will be my main priority, is getting all of this figured out. So again, testers, you will be able to do the different versions. I'm excited to show you something that isn't just a like trapezoid. So yeah, that's the update on the Secret History cardigan. Thank you all again for your interest, and I will keep you updated as this progresses. Okay, on to something smaller. Also, can we just look at this Totoro bag? It has ears. When I went to Portland, I went to Powell's. Oh, I realized his face is all scrunched up. There you go. You can see his face better now. When I went to Portland, I went to Powell's, which is the largest used bookstore in the US. I don't know if it's in the world, but it's in the US. So yeah, and then they have like all kinds of cutesy little things. It's a huge bookstore, so they have so much stuff. And I saw this the first time I went, and it said it was a lunchbox. So I was like, it was like all folded up, like I couldn't really see it. And it was like, this is a lunchbox. And I was like, I don't need a lunchbox. And then when I went the second time, I had still wanted it. So I got it because I knew it would be the perfect project bag for socks. Yay! Okay. If you watched my last video, you are familiar with the first attempt of this pattern. This is the Tiptoe Through the Tulips pattern by Stone Knits, the queen of colorwork socks. My first pair, I realized when I cast these on, I realized I made the largest size last time. Why? I have no idea. I don't know if I measured my foot wrong or something, but this is the size too. This is the size that's correct for my foot. So that will help with the fit, won't it? So yeah, you will be, if you watch my last video, you're aware of how those didn't turn out amazing. I don't really like the contrast of the tulips and the background. Like my color choices aren't amazing. And then of course the fit is pretty bad. But this is my redemption. And because it's roughly a year later, I knit the first pair in February of last year, so it's about a year later. I feel like my colorwork chops were improved enough to try again. So, and I'd say that arguably this is going pretty well. So I'll show you up close. I'm knitting the size 2. I am using some extra Kelbourne Woolens Mojave for the pink, so that's not a sock yarn. It's actually sport weight. It's sport weight like linen. But because it's color work and I'm, keeping my floats loose, I don't really think it will matter. It's also not really on any of the two like high wear areas. Like it's not on the heel and it won't be on the toe. So hopefully it will hold up. So yeah, that's that. And then the green is, actually I have the ball band in here. The green is something that I got as a free gift from Hobbii. It's the BC Garn Bio Shetland 100% pure organic wool. So it's super woolly. So will it felt? I don't know. I didn't really think about that. It might felt. But I got it as a free gift. I figured it'd be good for color work because it's woolly, and I'm really enjoying it in the color work. It's something I would never wear near my neck, never wear in a sweater. It's too woolly for me. Shetland wool is too woolly, but as a sock, I don't really feel it at all. The color is SH010, but it's just this beautiful like matcha leafy green color. So that was clearly going to be my little tulip leaves. And then the background color is the Hobbi Friends Sock Wool again in this really amazing, like almost like primary color blue. Maybe it's kind of purple leaning, like periwinkle-ish. And I'm just so in love. The only modification I made is that I worked the cuff and I'm working the heel on 2mm needles instead of the recommended 2.5, just because the heel and the toe and the cuff honestly are where I find the most fit issues on the last pair. So beyond the fact that I knit the wrong size last time, I think that working the heel on a smaller needle and creating a denser fabric will serve me well. So I've got like 2 half-finished socks. I had originally started these 2 at a time because I went on my rant last time about knitting socks 2 at a time, like it solves every sock problem. You don't get second sock syndrome. Your gauge is the same on both socks, which is all true, but it's so fiddly for color work. Like I can't. The yarn management was too much to handle. So I got to the heel flap on the first one, and then I had the cuff of the second one. That was when I quit. So then I worked the whole ankle of the second one, heel flap, and then my plan is to finish this one and then return to this one. So yeah, they're looking so adorable. And I did order my first pair of Danskos to wear with these. I feel pretty confident about my sock game, especially since I've designed a pair of socks now. So I thought it was allowed to buy myself a pair of Dansko clogs to wear with them. So I'm very excited about these and my little shoes to go with. So yeah, this has been a really joyful experience. So much so that I ordered Stone Knit's Joyful Colorwork Socks, which is the newer one. It's not the book that this pattern comes from. It's the book that has a lot of animals. It has a lot of drinks like tea and martinis and stuff. So I'm very excited to work a lot of those from that book. Look forward to more colorwork socks in the future. I'm hoping to get like some expertise in terms of colorwork socks. The other kind of motive for working colorwork socks is I love colorwork in itself. It's a way to use scraps very well. Just like I said, this Kelbourne Woolens Mojave was from that berry tea that I mentioned in the last episode. I also have the colorwork bug. I love it, but I don't need to make a bunch of colorwork sweaters just because it's not cold enough here. I don't want to keep buying sweater quantities of colorwork yarn. When I was reflecting on how much I made in 2025, just a year, and like that huge pile of stuff, I don't need to make that large of a pile of stuff every year, but I do think that I could make 20 pairs of colorwork socks that gives me the same like colorwork, like gratification and excitement and the cuteness of it. and they'll store smaller. I can wear them like more frequently. That's the thing with the colorwork sweaters. I'm not going to be able to wear them all the time. Like I have to stow them away for a little while and then break them out when it gets cold enough. But I feel like if I'm making colorwork socks, I'll be able to have them on casually or to work with my new dance goes. And it'll be a way to like always be doing colorwork, always be making something very exciting and unique, but it's not like a large garment and it's not using a lot of yarn. So that's sort of my whole philosophy on the colorwork sock thing. Expect a lot more of them from me. I'm very, very excited to be getting that book and some other fun sock things that are on the way, but not here yet. But yeah, so very excited about these. I think that the tulip sock redemption is definitely underway, and I'm excited to show them to you as a finished object in the next podcast. So that is that for the socks. All right, so the next whip is arguably on ice because I got to a point, a problem area for me. If you've watched some of my other videos, you might know what's coming, but I got to a point that's kind of a problem area, and then I got discouraged, and then I was like, I'm gonna hide this and work on something stockinette, ergo the Northland sweater. But anyways, this, oh, it's inside out. This is my Mabel Meadow cardigan. It's by Mippy the Label. A lot of the knitting podcasters I watch test knit for her. This cardigan, Knitting with Ev, notably. I really like her. But yeah, so this is what I have of it. This is made in the same yarn as that Northland sweater. It's the Plymouth yarn worsted merino superwash. There we go. Here's it up close. So very super washy. I picked this up at So Much Yarn in Seattle in Pike Place Market. I had mentioned them in my last video, but yeah, I picked this up there. And I like it and all. It's soft. You can tell this is giving me problems. I'm like talking about yarn I just was saying I liked poorly. But anyways, I'm making the extra small because again, I only have 4 skeins of this. I didn't want to get a lot because I wanted it all to fit in my suitcase. So yeah, I only have 872 yards, which is less than recommended for the extra small, which also is a size down in terms of ease that's recommended. So like if I was following her instructions, I would be knitting the small, but I really didn't want it to be too cropped, and I was okay with less ease because it's got, like a lot of lace work and all of that. So I'm fine with it being like a drapey, tighter fit thing. I wear a lot of more fitted cardigans anyways. But yeah, so I'm working the extra small. I have less yarn than is recommended for the extra small. So I'm trying to be yarn conservative, which is one of my problems. I should just buy the right amount of yarn. Granted, I bought this brown yarn to make something else when I was in Seattle, and then I decided to make this. So whatever, it's fine. I'm working with what I have. But I've gotten to connecting under the arm, and I'll put a try on video because it's kind of tight under the arm. Like I'm kind of worried. I always do this. I'm so excited to get all connected in the round, and then I'm just tight under the underarm. So, and you can see I stopped pretty quickly because I realized that this might be happening. So it would not be the worst thing to go back and knit the back panel a little bit longer, knit the front panels a little bit longer because I need the cable pattern to match up. It wouldn't be the worst thing to go back, and that's probably what I'll do because I'm not going to wear it if the armholes are too small. But part of me thinks that like I can't tell if they're too small because I don't have more fabric here, like pulling downward. But then again, I don't want to put in all that work working cables and lace. Granted, it's pretty simple cables and lace. I'll show you the back panel. You can see it a little bit cleaner. But yeah, it's pretty simple cables and lace. So it wouldn't be the worst thing to work up a lot of and then have to rip back. But again, with the designing, I'm already doing enough ripping back. I really don't want to be doing a bunch of ripping back on patterns that are someone else's design. Like I just want to be working on them and chill. So we'll see. I feel like In this state right now too, it kind of looks like Shrek's vest. Like it doesn't have sleeves and it's really small on me right now, so it looks like Shrek. I'm gonna put it in a picture. It looks, the texture too, oh my god, the seed stitch, which by the way I love. I think I'm gonna incorporate seed stitch into some of my designs. I'd never done it until this cardigan, and it is so cute. Ah, and you can work all of the increases and short rows in it, and it kind of hides really well. It's pretty good. This is my Shrek vest. No, I'm just kidding. I'm excited about this. It was my birthday cast on, so I cast it on in December. I think I will probably undo the arm join and knit it a little bit longer just for my own comfort, because I'm tired of doing this to myself where I make something really beautiful that I like a lot and I don't want to wear it because the armpits are too tight. This little lace pattern is just too good to be left on ice. So yeah, that is that. Okay, and then the last work in progress is in this cute bagoo bag. Ah! Anyways, this is another one of my own original designs. It's something that I immediately thought of while I was working Secret History, and I don't know if other designers have this kind of experience where it's like designing begets more designing, but this is a cabled pullover. This is the back I'm showing you. This is what I have of the front. It looks tiny, but it's kind of on a small cord, so it's kind of bunched. But yeah, so this is going to be a drop shoulder pullover with a cable pattern that runs down the middle of the front and the back. This sort of design was inspired by like Northland. I noticed she was showing this one t-shirt pattern she worked on that has just one, like the cable repeat is just in the center, which I got really excited about because as a newer designer, I'm not going to jump headfirst into a full cabled pattern because of all of the issues with grading. Like I'm scared. I am struggling through it. I'm learning, and I don't really want to have to figure out a full cable, like all the different cable repeats and the modifications for every size. So this is kind of a hack if you have just the pattern repeat or the cable section in the middle, and then all of the different sizes, like all of the grading happens in the stockinette sections on the edge, or the seed stitch. That's something I also really like. So this I am tentatively calling the Ghostwood Pullover. I did mention that I'm a Twin Peaks fan. I mentioned that in the last video. So this is a Twin Peaks reference. The color is also kind of inspired by some of Audrey Horne's sweaters in the show. I'll put some pictures of her up. But yeah, this kind of light baby bubblegumish pink is inspired by her. And this is, again, the Hobbi Friends Extra Fine Merino. There it is in the ball. It is color number 44. So bubblegumish pink. Same gauge as the Secret History. Again, I was kind of in that headspace. So yeah, it's on 4mm needles. This one is not going to be anything for a while. I'm just showing it because I spent a good amount of time on it over the Christmas break, and I did post some of the back piece on Instagram, and I haven't shown you guys, so I should show you guys. But yeah, so I'll show you close up. I have this kind of V motif in the center, so the center cable is like a repeating V pattern. We've got some eyelet diamonds, and then some more cables, and then this detail is something I'm very excited about. It makes it, really cements it in the Twin Peaks Ghostwood vibe, is these little pine tree motifs. They're a little bit bunchy because I haven't blocked it, but on the swatch you can see it really well. Oops, my bag fell. But yeah, so there's pine tree column on both edges, and I just feel like this will be so cute as like a spring pullover. I mean, it can be winter pullover here too, but for other climates, this 4mm like sport weight gauge will be pretty springy. And of course, this color is really kind of evoking like cherry blossoms in spring. But yeah, this is Ghostwood. I'm really excited about it. It also gave me some trouble in terms of short rows and everything. Like I didn't realize that designing was going to be this difficult. I guess I did. Maybe I didn't realize that it was going to be so much ripping back. I think that Laura Penrose, I've been watching so much of her channel, so I'll shout her out twice. I don't care. I think that Laura Penrose kind of brings that to light a lot. She talks about how much she rips back, like whole sweaters. And it hurts. Like, I really don't like doing it. It makes me mad. It makes me grumpy. Like, I become not fun to be around. And one of my goals is to let go of that a little bit more. I definitely started letting go of that within my first year of knitting. I was like, okay, this is part of the process. Like I mentioned earlier, I knit an entire Olga sweater and undid the whole thing because I hated it. Like, it was itchy. And so, yeah, I'm used to undoing a whole sweater. But I guess when it comes to my own design, I think I just want to keep chugging on it. Like, I want to keep going. And so ripping back is discouraging. And knitting with like already knit yarn is kind of discouraging. Like, it's all, it's crinkly and I'm just like, but anyways, so yeah, little drop shoulder, European shoulder construction thing. I'm hoping to have more positive ease on this one than the Secret History. But yeah, this is going to be somewhat on ice, but I'll just show you the details again because I'm just so pleased with how it's coming. So yeah, that's my last active whip. It's less active than the others, of course, just because I need to figure out what I'm doing with the Secret History cardigan and the 4 permutations of the Secret History cardigan before I can really get into this. So I'm going to be working on this slowly, and I think it'll be good to give myself a lot of time to kind of chew on it. I think that I got excited with the Secret History and then realized that I wanted to add more information. And I'm a little bit worried that that's going to extend the timeline, and then like all you guys that want to test won't want to test anymore, but I think it's going to be okay. I'm trying not to stress out about it. This can be slow going. This is literally my first time attempting this. I have to remind myself this all the time. It's my first time attempting this. So anyways, I'm going to give myself time on this design, really like make sure it's a really well thought out design and just kind of have fun with it and not rush the process. But I'm excited to keep updating you guys on how the Ghostwood is developing. So yeah, woohoo, pullover. Okay, so those were all of my finished objects and all of my active works in progress. So now is time for the acquisition section, which I was hoping would be more robust, but everything's still in the mail. So I only have one acquisition to show right now. And by special, I mean very special. Why am I showing you this wrapped in plastic? No, I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry, you guys. I hope someone out there likes Twin Peaks because this is gonna be the Twin Peaks knitting podcast. Honestly, that's kind of an amazing idea. Okay, anyways. This is the only yarn I received for Christmas because my family knows that getting me random balls of yarn is not good. Like one-offs, I don't really use. I suppose if they got me sock yarn, I would use it now. But my parents very graciously gifted me the nicest yarn I will ever use. So I have 9 balls of Cardiff Cashmere Classic. Let's just take it in, shall we? Oh. The color number is 556. So this is my packing receipt. Let's see if I have the. So the color number 556 is called Artico, in parentheses Heather Blue. So I have 9 balls of that, and I am waiting until I'm super sure on what I'm going to do with it. I didn't want to immediately start working with it because it's so special and I don't know how many times I'm going to have a sweater quantity of Cardiff Cashmere. So I don't really want to be like knitting and unraveling and knitting and unraveling. Like, I really want it to be a special thing that's kind of happening on its own. I also have too many things going right now. Like, the fact that the Mabel Meadow is still in progress and I'm still figuring out Secret History stuff is just tells me it's not time to use this yet. But my plan for it now is to sort of trial and error the Ghostwood cable pattern on that pullover in the cheaper Hobbii Merino. And then I want to make a Ghostwood cardigan out of this. I definitely want to make a cardigan out of this. It says it's DK weight, but I'd say it's sport weight. I can't decide whether I'm going to do 4.5mm needles or that same gauge I've been working in, the 4mm needle gauge. But I definitely want to make like a thin drapey cardigan that will sort of be like, that's the item I'm wearing. Like I, don't wear it over t-shirt, like tank top underneath, wear the cardigan, and that's sort of the thing. So yeah, I feel like that Ghostwood cable pattern that I've been working in will be beautiful in this color. I'm sorry, I keep showing it. I'm just really happy. So thank you so much, Mom and Dad. I don't know if they watch my videos to this point of the video, but thank you so much. It was such a generous gift, and it's just so exciting to be able to have such a luxurious yarn as such a newer kind of knitter. But yeah, it's this beautiful like periwinkle-ish bluish color. It's pretty much like in my realm. Like my water bottle's kind of purpley. This is bluer than the water bottle, but it's similar. And I just feel like it will really complement my hair really nicely. I've been in a bit of a blue phase clearly with the socks and the pullover, and then now this. But yeah, so this is just my one very special acquisition. I am so excited to give this its dedicated time. I'm holding on to this, keeping it safe in my little yarn shelving until I'm fully ready to give it its day in the sun. So maybe in the spring I will start this, or maybe even in the fall. I don't want to like get too precious about it and just be sitting on it and like not use it, but I do want to be very confident in what I'm using it for and have a good time. So yeah, thank you guys so much again. This is so special, and I will put it back in its safe place. Well, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for your time. I am so excited to be back doing the traditional knitting podcast. I'm hoping, don't hold me to this, I'm hoping to do bi-weekly uploads at least once a month because I feel like I've been stretching them out and making like hour-long videos, and we don't need hour-long videos. I think a 30-minute video is a very sweet spot. So I think I can fit in bi-weekly, at least monthly uploads within like working and the busyness of my life. But yeah, thank you again so much for being here. I'm so grateful for all the support on the secret history patterns. I will keep you updated on the socks and the cardigan, and I'll keep posting like progress. Well, I might post progress photos of the second sample, but I'll definitely be updating you on the second sample in the next podcast. So I hope you've had a great start to your new year. I know I have. I think 2026 will bring a lot of growth for me, and I hope for all of you it brings a lot of fun projects. So thank you again for being here, and I will see you next time. Happy knitting.